If you're considering selling commercial real estate in the state of Florida, commercial real estate is like the wild, wild west. It's completely different from residential real estate. And today, we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about the top 3 legal considerations if you're considering buying or selling commercial real estate. I'm Jordan Lulich with Lulich & Attorneys, and I ask that you share, like, and subscribe our page to allow us to bring more content to you. So, commercial real estate. One of the top legal considerations is professional guidance. Commercial real estate's not like residential. There are so many nuances, and the complexity of a commercial deal is so different from that of a residential transaction. That's why it's going to be so important that you form your team, whether you're buying or whether you're selling, that you form your team of competent professionals that are experienced. This is the key part, that are experienced in commercial real estate. You're going to want to have your attorney. You're going to want to have a commercial real estate broker. If you're financing and buying a piece of property, you're going to have a commercial lender, a commercial inspector, a commercial appraiser. You're going to want to form your team of people to help you either acquire or sell this property to avoid any legal pitfalls. Now, when it comes to a commercial transaction, it's a much slower moving process than residential. Often with many transactions in the commercial space, it'll start with a letter of intent. And what a letter of intent is it basically covers the main terms, and it's a summary, a one-page summary of what a buyer intends to offer to a seller to purchase that seller's piece of property. It'll go over main terms like purchase price and the inspection period, and whether there's any financing contingencies for financing. And it's designed to give a summary, but not to go in depth as a contract would. Now, a letter of intent is typically not going to be like a contract. It's not going to be binding. However, if you don't have certain verbiage in your letter of intent, then courts have deemed it in some cases in the state of Florida to be like a contract. So you're going to want to make sure that the language that you put in there is very specific to make sure that you're not, in some cases, you may want to have it be binding like a contract. In some cases, you may want it to be non-binding, and you want to be very strategic on when it's binding versus when it's non-binding. Now, the idea is with a letter of intent is to not draft the entire contract and to have a summary, because what this does is it allows the buyer and seller to engage in negotiations and allow them to exchange offers a little bit more quicker and a little bit more easier than drafting an entire contract. And once the buyer and seller reaches a meeting of minds, and once they've gotten together and at least they've agreed on a price and the due diligence and some of the main terms, then a contract is drafted. Now, unlike Florida residential real estate, each commercial real estate contract is different, and all the terms and conditions are going to be different, and it takes a competent real estate attorney to prepare that commercial real estate contract. A piece of agricultural land is going to look a lot different from a commercial shopping center, which will look a lot different from an office building. And so you're going to want to make sure that that contract is drafted specifically for the commercial real estate that you're buying or you're selling. The last equation that goes into a commercial transaction are tenants. And if you're a buyer, you want to have a good look at what lease agreements are in place for the tenants. Do they have increases in rent? Are there multiple years in which the tenant has a right to maintain possession of the property? Is the tenant given a right to make an offer on the building before a buyer is able to go under contract with the seller? And these are all equations that you want to look at from the beginning to make sure that you're not wasting your time, resources, and money on a deal that may not even be able to go under contract. The most important thing you can do is, going back to my piece of advice, is to surround yourself with that competent team of professionals. For more information, you can visit our website, and if you could like, share, and subscribe to our page, that allows us to bring more content to you. I'm Jordan Lulich, and we'll see you next time.